Have you heard the expression that the camera adds 10 pounds? Well, I'm sorry to have to break it to you, but there is some truth to that rumor. The camera does some funny things to objects and people that are in front of it. It distorts some things, it magnifies others, and if you don't know what it's doing to you and your image on camera and how your customer perceives you on the screen that they're looking at, then you can make some mistakes that are completely unintentional. So the camera tends to flatten things out, which is why we look a little larger than we do perhaps in real life. Things get wider when we flatten them out. But that's not really a huge problem for most of us. The bigger problem is that the camera takes away a big chunk of our energy. Certainly all that natural energy that's exchanged when you're in front of a customer, that back and forth that you can just feel, is gone, right? And we've just got, again, this two-dimensional space, and our energy is flattened out as well. Now, add to that, most of us are in a seated position when we're having these virtual conversations, and you can see why there's a real potential energy drainage. So we have to find ways to bring energy back into the conversation, because energy is so vital to sales. Some people have said sales is a transfer of energy, or it's a transfer of enthusiasm. We have to reach our customer. We have to inspire them to make a change, to change their behavior. And to do that, it requires energy. So somehow we have to get energy back into these conversations. Now, what happens is a lot of times salespeople will tell me, well, I just want to be natural on camera. I just want to be myself. And of course, I'm all for being yourself on camera. However, oftentimes when we think about being natural or being authentic, we equate that with being comfortable. And think about what you do when you're comfortable. You get kind of comfy, right? You maybe lean back in your chair, and then your energy starts to go down more, and it comes across in your voice because your voice doesn't have much modulation or dynamics to it, and your face isn't very expressive. And what do you look like to your customer? It looks like you're not interested, which probably couldn't be farther from the truth, but that's what they take away from that image. That's what they see on their screen. So one of the ways that we can add that energy back into the call is just in the way that we position ourselves. And I call this the camera-ready position. And it's a very easy, quick way to look as engaged as you probably feel and make sure that's communicated to our customer. So first of all, you want to sit in your chair with your feet in front of you, planted on the floor, balanced weight equally, and then straighten your spine. Make sure your head is in line with your spine. And then just hinge forward about 10-15%. So you might see that I look instantly more engaged, more interested. It's the I'm sitting on the edge of my seat because I can't wait to hear what you have to say type of energy. And everybody likes to feel like they are being heard and seen. And so that's one way that we can visually emphasize that. So that's a really important way to look energetic. The other thing we need to do is we need to get our energy up. And it's very difficult when you're going from back to back virtual calls, right? You probably have a lot of those meetings. And it can start to bring your energy down, and that poor last customer that we're talking to really doesn't get a good glimpse of who we are, do they? So there are ways to get our energy up, and it's like an actor before a show. If you go backstage, actors aren't just sitting there very quietly waiting to go on. They are working very hard to get their energy up. They're shaking things out, they're moving around, they're vocalizing, because they know that they have to bring energy on the minute that curtain goes up or the camera goes on. And the same is true in sales. If you don't warm up before your call, you are basically warming up on your audience, because it takes most people 20-30 seconds to really get in the groove, to really get to a good energy spot. So do that warm up before you get on camera. Move around, shake it out, do a good warm up in the morning, and when you have breaks in between calls so that you can appear on every conversation as energetic and interested as I know that you are in your customers. So those are a couple of tips I wanted to share with you today on the importance of bringing energy and reinfusing that energy into our virtual calls. If you're interested in learning more, you can check out my book, Look Me in the Eye, Using Video to Build Relationships with Customers, Partners, and Teams.